I would like to talk a little bit about our project, and I have brought with me Simon. Simon is the CEO of we have named this type of companies scientific service companies, and I think that's a useful tool for better interaction between research infrastructures and industry and regions. And in the beginning, I would like to show you another example. Hopefully it works.
Welcome to the House of Experts, your scientific rescue team. This is the place where we enjoy performing scientific sanity checks, risk mitigation, process and product development, and where we prove ourselves right. But we are not your standard analytical lab. We are not your ordinary scientists. We believe in quality by understanding. If you're ready to invest in understanding, take a ride with us towards better products, patents, and processes. This is how we do things. Bring us your issue. Whether it's a gel that's not stable enough, a material that needs surface modification, a bottle or an inhalation device that does not outperform the competition yet, we sit down with you to find out what's troubling you and why you don't sleep at night. Once we've grasped your situation, we equip the team and define the roles for it. We're basically a team brain that's ready for takeoff. We spend our initial thinking time on reading, looking at the fundamentals, and formulating the starting point, our hypothesis, our quest. Then, we discuss alternative ways forward and calculate the resources needed. This is where we let all of our expertise and creativity run free on individual, different thinking paths. Once we've decided on the best path for you, we get ready to launch your project. No matter how many times we've done this, we always face a scientific roller coaster that may give you the butterflies. But don't worry, we're used to this and we will take care of you every step of the way. You're our most valuable passenger and we want you along for the ride. We're convinced you will enjoy it. Remember, science is a good handle to hold on to. Enter the methods, enter the magic machines. We have a vast variety of methods and machines at our disposal, and we use the ones we need to get us where you want to be. We work smart, and smart doesn't necessarily mean big or fancy. If the standard UV spectrometer fits the task, then we'll use it, even though the unique synchrotron is not far away. The end of the ride? Somehow we always see new perspectives. Then we stop, reflect and measure again, finding something new. We turn the data around, replot, do the math, measure again and go all the way to our conclusion checklist, which shows you how we solved the problem on budget, on time, and in an original way. Then we finalize your issue to what you wanted in the first place. It could mean taking your issue and making it into a report, a product, a patent application, or even a training course. That's how we do things. And remember, we are not your ordinary scientists. Questions?
So, and that's a typical example how scientific service companies are acting. So they mainly act on the needs of their users, of course. And so they are not ordinary scientists. They have, or adding a little bit more services. And what we have found out, there are some effects for industrial users. And on the side of the industrial users, you have lower risk of failing in your measurements, for example, because the scientific service companies provide you a guarantee that the customer has paid only for successful measurements, and as a customer, you are much more flexible using resources because you have not to maintain own resources and to have staff that know all measurement methods and all materials. So it's a typical service provider. And at the end, hopefully you have a quicker access to measurement instruments, you will get much faster results, and hopefully in a higher quality. It is a little bit like, I would say, in COVID time, you have to cut your hairs by yourself. And after COVID, you go to the hairdresser. So, and that's the same decision, yeah? So scientific service provider are somehow the professional that you are cutting your hairs, and compared you are cutting your hairs by yourself. Yeah, so that's a little bit the difference, and the price is different, of course. If you have a scientific service company, you might have to pay for this measurement more, but you have not to pay the scientist by yourself the whole year. Yeah, so there's a huge difference. If we come to the large-scale research infrastructures, there's a similar situation. You have not to provide as much resources as for a normal scientific user, because this scientific service companies do repeatedly use the large-scale research infrastructures. This is much more easier. They know the measurement, they know the instrument, they know the contracts. So it is much more easier for the large-scale research infrastructure to collaborate with a scientific service company than with an, I would say, untrained first-time industrial user. In some cases, even the scientific service companies develop, together with the large-scale research infrastructures, unique methods of measurements. So there is a tight collaboration. I think Simon will have a similar example of this collaboration with large-scale research infrastructures. And if you have a view of the innovation system and the regional development, there is a better interaction between industry, large-scale research infrastructures, and universities. And there is a better usage of already existing resources, for example, at the large-scale research infrastructures and universities. And the scientific service companies are using different programs, structural funds, research framework programs, national funds. In Germany, for example, we have an example that one of the companies has used SIM, also the program by the Federal Ministry of Economics, to develop, together with an RI, a unique measurement method. And what we have found is that in some cases, we have also some scientific service companies in less innovative countries. So there's a transfer of knowledge, and you have less brain drain compared to not having this type of companies in other countries. And if we are talking about practical implementation of the European research area, there's an example that's our startup school, and we have had overall 49 applications, 5 coming from Lithuania, 3 from Latvia, 2 from Czechia, 1 from Poland, 1 from Estonia, 1 from Bulgaria. So it is really somehow a collaboration over Europe, and in some cases worldwide, the most outstanding application we received from Iran. I would say this type of scientific service companies are very smart, small, medium-sized enterprises that are very effective in filling gaps in the innovation system. Some words, or the last words about our project. The current project is mainly funded by Interact, that are structural funds. We have a duration for 3 years, remaining about 11 months in this year, because we are ending in at the end of the year. We have an overall budget of 1.6 billion euros, 8 partners, or at the moment only 7.
That's okay.
Being paid by structural funds, we are a regional development project. So we what we admit at the moment is policy recommendations. You can find it on our internet site. Some reports, for example, about the business model of this type of companies. And as a pilot activity, we have in place at the moment our startup school. And we are very proud that the CEOs of some very successful scientific service companies are inside the startup schools, doing webinars, share their knowledge, and coaching newcomers or people that are in the program. And if you would like to have more information, please enter our internet site, and that is carrots.oi. Just here.
Thank you, Uwe. Well,
Thank you too.
I think we can take a discussion and question after Simon's intervention. So then maybe Simon, if you want to go ahead. I see that there's already questions, but Sonia, can you write it down somewhere and we take it afterwards?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. The invitation came quite late, so I don't know how well this talk will go. And also, Uwe mentioned about like the fact that, you know, we're kind of equivalent to like professional hairdressers or something. And I just wanted to clarify, I'm cutting my own hair at the moment, but that's not through choice. So yeah, anyway, so yes, so we are we are basically an intermediary company. We're providing services to industry, and we serve several sectors, mainly in chemical industry and automotive. That's our main areas where we work. And you know, our clients are coming to us because we have this you know, a number of sort of saleable points. So firstly, you know, we're kind of familiar with chemistry. We have a deep understanding of chemistry and material systems, and we're often familiar with the type of chemical problems that our clients are presenting to us. We have expertise in data collection, and this is beyond what would be available, you know, in the main in the client's home labs. So that's another point. And then we're using advanced methods, which are, you know, well and truly beyond, you know, what people normally have access to. And they enable us to do very special kinds of science. So for instance, studying real world devices intact and getting chemical insight. And I'm going to speak a little bit about that in a few moments, because these methods are so powerful. And whilst they're emerging, we're trying to actually sell these bleeding edge methods to industry. And we can offer, you know, the complete pipeline from you know, the experimental, well, interpreting the client's problem and the experimental design, all the way to the analysis and the interpretation of the data. And I'll just say one other thing, that large scale facilities are a kind of victim of the success of their own technical achievements, and also that's made by industrial electronic manufacturers or detector manufacturers, in the fact that they're producing, you know, ever larger volumes of data in, you know, shorter periods of time. And so we're able to handle this big data. You know, it's a struggle, but we're able to do it. And I've just put on this slide here, you know, all the different types of techniques that we offer. You know, other mediators will be offering different techniques, but really it's a mixture of laboratory and large-scale facility techniques, or offering these techniques from either laboratory or large-scale facility. And really what I wanted to put on this slide was to get to the point that actually everyone wins with the mediators being present. So you know, obviously we win because we derive an income from what we're doing. Uwe mentioned brain drain. You know, we are recruiting people straight from their PhD, so we're providing opportunities, employment. But you know, the large scale facility, the clients are winning because obviously they're getting the service we're providing, and state of the art approaches to collection, but also the synchrotrons and indeed the public and society are benefiting as well. And I just want to make that point that, you know, we're selling and promoting large scale facilities. So I know individual facilities have their own people that do industrial outreach, but I don't see that there's any competition from us, because we're just, you know, we're just adding to what you're able to get yourselves. And we're bringing, you know, we're generally bringing new clients. So we're often reaching out to people with our own business development, trying to convince them of the benefits of using synchrotron radiation or neutrons or whatever it is. And we bring them to use a facility, and they wouldn't use it if it wasn't for us, or not in so much of a hurry anyway. And also, I'll come on to this, that we're developing the capability of the synchrotrons and, well, the large scale facilities themselves, and that increases their competitiveness and their productivity. And of course, we're basically translating the large public investments, so the, you know, many millions of euros, dollars, pounds put into developing these facilities. We're translating that into sort of tangible benefits for industry and society. I forgot to mention on this previous slide here that actually I put an emission abatement system up there. So that's an example of where we used chemical imaging to try and understand the chemistry, the evolving chemistry, which was happening inside these units. And in that particular example, which was for, you know, one of the biggest chemical companies in the world, we were able to find out what the deactivation process was that was occurring inside their product. And because of what we did, so the chemical insight that we brought, they were able to go away and redevelop their unit to produce something that was like more efficient, and something with better longevity. And because of those developments, all of us in Europe are breathing cleaner air, you know, as a direct result. So, you know, it's addressing these societal challenges such as air quality. You know, the mediators are playing their role as well. So next, I just wanted to talk very briefly about one particular method, and you'll see why I'm talking about that in a few moments. But this is called X-ray diffraction computing tomography. And it's a really, really powerful method because it allows you to look inside objects and study the chemistry. And that can even be under imposed environments. So that might be you looking at a operating catalytic bed, or a monolith that I just, you know, catalytic converter monolith or something like that, or a battery. You know, there's lots of examples of where, or a fuel cell, where you can use, you can see the chemistry evolving in your system. And I'm showing an image there, which is relatively state of the art. So that was collected in 2018 at ESRF. And, you know, you've got a 1 micron resolution image, and it's got 360,000 pixels in, you know, one of these slices has 360,000 pixels in it, and that scan took about 1 hour to collect. And actually, we can go a lot faster now if we need to. So I'm going to come on to that because it presents a data processing and data analysis problem. So I've said, sorry, I'm just trying to see how much time I've got left. So I'd said that it's a mixture of X-ray tomography and X-ray diffraction, or perhaps I didn't say that, but anyway, it is. And this is, so, you know, we use a lot of tomography anyway, but that's just a contrast technique. And I'm sure many of you will be familiar with that. And that can be used, for instance, to look at, mechanical deformations. So inside a battery, you might be looking at delamination or something like some process like that. Although it's a really amazing technique and can give you wonderful images, it's not always suited to, particular material science systems. So for example, batteries, where you often have low Z materials like lithium and carbon, the signal that you get from that can be lost or very difficult to, or impossible to recover. And lastly, I want to point out that these are grayscale images. So the information is about the intensities there only, and there's no chemical information. Whereas we have this chemical X-ray diffraction computed tomography, and rather than having conventional single intensity at any individual pixel, you've now got a complete diffraction pattern. And this is incredibly powerful because, as you'll see in a minute, you can extract that local diffraction information. So in this video now, you'll be seeing the cursor was moving around and we're scrolling across, but now we're looking in the scattering domain. And you can see.
Can I interrupt you? We only have 5 minutes left and we haven't raised a single question to the two of you.
Then.
So
right,
we need to speed up and open the dialogue here.
Okay.
I want to know who's paying for your services.
Okay, so basically what I was trying to get at is that there's a huge amount of wealth of information inside these images. There's an individual, every individual diffraction pattern here, there's 300,000 of them. And typically you would have to be doing Rietveld analysis on all of these diffraction patterns. So just for one slice is 300,000. So that's like a lot of processing to be done. And we've developed machine learning capabilities that enable you to whip through that in less than a minute. And so so we're not just providing conventional services, we're actually also improving the techniques and opening them up for industrial use. So I'll just finish with that slide there, and apologies for going over.
No, because thank you so much for this presentation, Simon. And my question is basically, who's paying for that? I mean, is it only the companies, or do you team up with the infrastructures who use you also to reach out to industry?
Well, unfortunately, it's only us that pays for that. So we have to either apply for grants, or we have to do it, using our in-house money. So profit, we roll over profit to try and improve our productivity. But there's a game for us, because obviously if we're successful, then we're able to then offer that service, and it becomes, we can lower our price point, increase the number of customers, but also increase our profitability. So there's a kind of market driver there, but it's like a massive upfront cost for us. And it is hard. And I feel that there should be more engagement from large scale facilities with the stuff that we're doing. So for instance, right at the moment, we're developing super resolution capabilities and other kind of amazing stuff that people will want to use, that can improve the speed of collection, improve the productivity of the large scale infrastructures.
I have actually a question to the audience, because I mean, you are mainly working together with synchrotrons and large-scale facilities, but we also have a very diverse group of participants here who also represent, for example, life science infrastructures or from the environment space. And I wonder, do you in your organizations also work together with those kind of mediator and service companies? Does anyone from not the physical domain has experience in that? Or is that something that's really tailored to the large-scale facilities?
Or if not, would you be interested in having a mediator company?
Okay.
Maybe I can answer it from the point of view of the UK perspective. So where we are, we're based at Harwell, and actually now we interact heavily with the laboratories there. And it's a kind of symbiotic relationship. So we still have to pay for access to instrumentation, but we can use it for a recruiting ground for talent. But also we can develop methods, some methodology in the lab there, and we can do it on academic projects. So that way we can get kind of lower cost access. But I think it's this kind of model, everyone benefits. And I just strongly recommend, you know, obviously, I don't think that we get the business from necessarily from you guys, but like, you know, you should be using your local mediators because they're an excellent resource and they have to work incredibly efficiently to thrive. So you get very good bang for your buck.
Uwe, you're raising your hand.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
1 minute.
from my point of view, there are not enough numbers of this type of companies in Europe. We have counted about 12 in material science, no more. So and what we are doing at the moment is to rise the number and to improve the visibility. We haven't counted the scientific service provider in pharmacy because there is a lot of this type of service providers, but in material science, too less.
Do anyone has a last question or comment before we close today?
I am
Yeah,
from
Aldo?
the pharmaceutical side. So the question is, of course, when you have a large enterprise, is one thing. But if you take in mind a research center of a company in vaccine or things like this, is there an advantage in reducing the maintenance cost to have a services provider company? Because maintenance is about 20% of the cost of the instrument themselves every year. Is it clear?
That question to me, or so who's the question?
One of the two, maybe the previous speaker, because he was in chemistry, no? More in the large instrument.
Yeah, but if you have a look on the prices of instruments at large-scale research infrastructures, you will pay via a direct access as an industrial user the same amount of money as Simon, for example. Simon has a little bit more reduced cost, and then include the maintenance costs, but he has I would say a reduced price because of the huge volume of beam time he is using. So it's a little bit, and going to the company that are in the situation to hire a scientific service provider or not, it's a little bit like cow. Either you would like to drink milk, you buy milk. If you have a huge need of milk, you buy a cow. So, and that's similar. Yeah. So if you have a huge volume of measurements, you will go straight to the large-scale research infrastructure and have a direct collaboration. If you have not so much cases or different cases, then you use a scientific service provider, and that is cost effectively.
Uwe, I like your comparisons. First the hairdresser and COVID, now the cow and the milk. Fantastic. I mean, okay.
Okay, that's a very interesting topic. I think we could have many more questions. We are kind of running out of time now. If anyone has a last question, and then is there more questions, or Ute, you want to say something?
No, just that we maybe, I mean, indeed, we should carry on then in LinkedIn to continue the discussion.
Yeah.
And then also see how we open it up to the other scientific domains, no?
Yeah, and maybe we keep in touch also with the Carrots project and see how we can further collaborate. So thank you, everyone.
What are we doing next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to talk about innovation procurement.
Yeah,
and we will
my favorite topic.
So we will have the pleasure to welcome Stefan Korvers and Annabelle Berque-Dano from Korvers. So they will tell us everything we need to know about innovation procurement and also the AFIP methodology that they have developed together with the Commission. So we really hope to see you next week. And by then, we wish you a safe week and a nice weekend. And have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.